Welcome to our weekly immigration podcast. We cover all things immigration in the United States. Thanks for coming on board. If you've got questions or comments, leave it down below. We always ask for that because we try to respond to people and give them information. All right, let's kick it off and get into the immigration news. First thing is, immigration's made some changes to the SIGIS program. SIGIS is a special immigrant juvenile category. That's a category for individual minors who are in the United States without parents. Now, what's going on right now is they've got a little bit of a backlog on the cases, and they have changed the procedure to offer a work permit to individuals who are waiting in the line. This is a way to protect people who are waiting so they can actually work and be safe. Work permits are always used as evidence that, hey, I'm here and I've got a case pending. So the work permit for the SIGIS program, brand new, really good benefit, and I think it's a positive move. It shows some of the temperature of immigration changing to be a little warmer, a little better, right? Where Biden is in control, he's trying to give benefits to people and to show people that they're just not here stuck out in the cold and just to have to face things on their own. Work permits are a great way to do that, and I think this is a program that needs it. We've got an update on the visa bulletin. The visa bulletin has made dramatic changes, and specifically we're talking about 245I. 245I, or Dos 45I in Spanish, is a law that ended in April 2001. It's a law that gives an automatic benefit to anybody who had a case filed before that time. So when we look at the priority dates every month, what we're looking for is to see, are there any priority dates that fit into 245I? And in fact, we see that for the country of Mexico. We see a lot of the priority dates being current. So note, if you have a family member who had a case under 245I, that means 2000 and 2001, that case might be eligible to file right now. You need to check the visa bulletin or talk to an attorney to check your priority date. I've been getting calls all week on this topic, lots of questions about exactly what's going on with the 245I filings. So it's really, really good news. Big jump in the visa bulletin. Talk to your attorney or give us a call. Now, Congress did recently pass a budget, and that budget, very late, is covering immigration. One of the benefits that we saw there that's going to be a positive for all things immigration is they've allocated about $275 million for backlog reduction. Now, backlog reduction is a mix. We've done this in our videos. We talked about what this is. It's a mix of a deluge of cases, priority dates, and COVID problems. But one part of that was really important, it was in a Inspector General's report with USCIS last year, was that USCIS had not kept up with its hiring. That means they had losses, they had people leaving, but they did not hire and train new staff. And so they were never up to date with their staffing, and that's part of the backlog problem. We see here that they're going to be putting money into hiring new staff, absolutely necessary, and we think that's a benefit that's we're going to see down the road as processing times move down. Good news, no new wall funding. Nobody really cared about that, at least in the immigration world, I can say. And the ICE detention budget is also flat, hasn't really moved too much. There is going to be more money going to Customs and Border Protection and ICE enforcement and to citizenship. So they have increased the budgets for all those groups. Those are necessary, and I think those are important parts of our immigration network. However, the backlog reduction is going to be the best part that's going to see some benefits for all of you guys down the road. Another part of that bill was VAWA was reauthorized. So VAWA had been up for reauthorization. It's a program where there's been abuse in a relationship. Oftentimes we see that typically with women who've been abused in a relationship, and they're afraid because they don't have status when their husband or partner is actually a citizen or resident. VAWA's been reauthorized, and they're building some joint processing centers and looking at increasing some of the processing times, because they're at about 18 months on processing those cases. They're speeding those cases up as well. On another front, Congress did finally reauthorize the EB-5 Regional Center Program. Now, this is just, the $1 million, $500,000 investment program has been put back on the books. It's something that if you're interested in the investment program, you follow it very closely because it has to be ready and open for people to take to put their money into these programs. So it's been reauthorized, and they've increased the new minimum. So I'll put these up for you guys to see. The new minimum investment is $800,000 for the TEAs, targeted employment areas, okay, and $1,050,000, okay, for the standard EB5 investments. So they moved them up a little bit, and this is important to you because this new law, you need to know where you fit in. If you're filing a case now, you're going to have to follow the new standards and the new investment minimums. If you have a case pending, you need to talk to your lawyer about that because you should be okay. Usually these things move forward, not backwards, but you should be okay with it. In any case, the regional centers are back authorized again. Talk to your attorney if you need more information about what's happening with your case. Okay. Aside from that, we've got a new rule pending about EADs. Now, remember that Biden put out a rule that says all EADs are automatically extended for 180 days if you file for an extension on time. So if your work permit, EAD, employment authorization document, is coming to an end, it's your job to file on time. USCIS already has an announcement that if you file your case on time, you get an automatic extension of 6 months for your EAD that's in your hands. And that works for Form I-9 for all employers. There's a new regulation pending that is specifically about another extension because the backlog for the EADs is more than 6 months. They're not getting the work permit in your hand in 6 months. In fact, we're still seeing 8, 10, and even 12 months to get an EAD. So right now there's a rule in process which would do another extension. I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to be. I think they need to give another 6 months for EAD extensions. So it'd be 2 extensions of 6 months, so long as you have proof of filing. We'll have more for you as that rule gets closer to being finalized. Remember, they publish new rules, so we know about them. They go through a comment period and then they get finalized, all right? In another news story, we have seen a slight increase in families coming to the border to get asylum. Now, with the war in Ukraine, obviously, there's a new group of immigrants and refugees fleeing trouble, trying to find a place to land. We've seen the numbers in the news. You've seen the number 1 million or 2 million people, refugees streaming out of Ukraine to neighboring Poland and other countries. At this point, the United States has increased the number of Ukrainian refugees that they're willing to accept. However, we've come to this place where it causes a conflict in what we have right now. And that's what this story is about right now. There was a line of families at the border recently, and a reporter was down there, and she saw all this happen, where the Ukrainian families, some 20 Ukrainian families, were allowed to come in the United States to file their asylum application while a Mexican family was turned away. And the truth is, those Mexican families, they're actually fleeing dangerous situations in parts of Mexico where the drug crime and the drug lords have overridden communities and people live in fear of their lives. You know, this is our closest neighbor, one of our closest allies. We have a very strong and long relationship with Mexico. However, U.S. immigration policy has this bizarre standard of sort of just pushing them away in an effort to sort of stem the flow of people fleeing this turbulence and trouble. I'm not saying that every single person fleeing trouble should come to the United States and be allowed to come in, but I am saying that we do have a double standard, and I am saying that we tend to seek out certain groups where we're able to provide them benefits. The simple matter is, Mexican families fleeing hardship in Mexico, they do deserve a turn in front of a judge. They do deserve to file their applications. I think immigration needs to face this double standard and come up with a better solution than allowing Ukrainian or white immigrants in while turning away our brown neighbors. This is something that America has to face, and we need a better policy. I don't have all the answers here, but I do think we need a better policy than this, because what I see is an injustice, and in my opinion, immigration should have better standards and better policies that reflect our country a lot better than the ones we have right now. All right, we've got a couple questions for you guys, from you guys, and here we go. I'm on H-1B since December 2011. I've got an approved I-140, and my priority date is January 2012. My kids are citizens. Is there any way to expedite my green card? All right, this is obviously from an Indian national who's on a backlog from India because their case is 2016, I believe, and the 2012 priority date is the one that's being showed right now. In truth, there's no way to expedite a green card. If your visa, if you have filed your case because your priority date is current, expediting it, there's a normal process to ask USCIS. You can say, hey, I filed my case, I've got these issues, and I want to expedite it. Their expedite rules tend to be very, very specific, and you got to talk to your lawyer to look at that. The expedite rules, I think we've gone over them in a video, tend to be about hardship to an American citizen or a specific family member. If your children are citizens and you're saying to me you filed your case and you want to expedite it, you can point out your children being citizens and maybe something else going on with them. You can't simply say, just because they're citizens, I'd like to expedite. What you should probably do is talk to your attorney about any hardships your children are facing, to point out as citizen children you'd like them to expedite your case because it will help alleviate these problems that your children face, okay? So that's what I would say to that. Aside from cases that are filed, okay, if you're waiting for a priority date because your priority date is not current, there is no way to expedite your green card case, okay? If you're waiting for a priority date because the case is not current, I cannot expedite your green card case, and nobody can, okay? Try to answer that question as completely as I can because it was not clear exactly what they were asking. All right, we got one more question here, two more actually. E2 visa versus the EB5, which is better to start for an Indian citizen? All right, so very clearly the key here is going to be country of nationality in this question. The E2 visa has a list of countries that qualify. There's some 70 countries that have treaties of commerce with the United States. And in fact, you can look up E2 treaty countries, and you're going to get right away the list of countries that have a treaty with the United States that can use an e-visa. And conspicuously absent from that list is India. India does not have a treaty of commerce with the United States, and therefore there is no E2 visa for nationals of India. That means, in answer to your question, it's the EB5 program. EB5 does not have a country-specific list. It's open to everybody. If you meet the guidelines, you can invest your money. You can do the EB5, all right? Indian nationals who have citizenship elsewhere. Now, this is completely different, and I've seen this happen with Indian nationals who live and have Canadian citizenships. Those individuals are going to be eligible for an E2, and you should talk to your attorney about that. Or give us a call if you have a question, or leave a comment down below. If you're a citizen of another country, or your wife is perhaps born in Singapore, born in another country that has a treaty, then we can do the E2, all right? E2 analysis always starts with the treaty country list. You can do that yourself, or you can call me and I'll do it for you, and we'll try and help you out, all right? Final question here. Is there a way to upgrade an EB2 to an EB1 category case? Short answer on this is going to be no. What I mean by that is EB2 is a perm-based process, EB2 and EB3, where a labor certificate is filed based upon qualifications. Now, EB2 and EB3, you have an umbrella situation where EB2s obviously qualify for EB3 because it's master's degree versus bachelor's degree, and usually a master's degree includes a bachelor's degree. You also have moving up from EB3 to EB2 because EB3, bachelor's degree, plus 5 years experience, is allowed to move into the EB2 category. So you have some movement within those two groups because of the nature of the case. However, the EB1 has 3 different categories. It's international executives, it's also individuals of outstanding extraordinary ability, and it also includes scholars and researchers for universities. So as you can see, they're very specific categories, and you can't just move a perm case into one of those categories. You can't say I'm an executive, therefore I move into the EB1. So short answer is no, but you got to understand the difference of what's within EB1 and what's in it within EB2. All right, on a final note, just a little personal note here. I've been absent, unfortunately. Me and my family were struck by COVID-19, and it just bounced through the house, and we all ended up getting a positive test for COVID-19. It was very mild, thankfully. We're all vaccinated except for the little one. He's 4. We made it through okay. Just fine, actually. And I just want to let you know that, COVID is still out there. It's still bouncing around. 2 years I made it with nothing, and we don't know how, but the family ended up with COVID, and we had to spend 10 days in quarantine. And like I said, everybody's healthy and fine and back on their feet. So we made it through unscathed. And I thank the virus for that. the vaccine for that, because being vaccinated really made it a mild COVID process. All right, guys. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. As always, subscribe, like, forward our video to other people. It helps the algorithm. The truth is, we give out tons of free information. We're always telling you guys what's going on, and we do it because we like to do it. Leave a comment for us. We love to talk about what's going on in the news, and we want to respond to your comments and give you the content that you want to hear. Take care out there. Thanks. Bye.